What's up, guys? It's Mikey here with MMB. This is episode 4 for our podcast. Obviously, we're doing other short little podcasts that we're not counting as full episodes. But this is episode 4. We are interviewing our graphic designer. His name is Zach. He's awesome. Some of the show notes will have everything that he's doing. And basically, if you're looking for some great design, check him out. If you have had time, please go rate this podcast on iTunes. We'd really greatly appreciate it. So I'm not going to talk anymore because, you listened to me enough. And I am going to get into this interview. So here is our chat with Zach the designer. What's up, guys? It's Mikey with Man Meets Barbecue. We have my buddy Zach here, who's the designer behind our logo, and he's a freelance designer. So we're going to talk about a little bit of the design work that went into the logo and what you should be doing if you want to do something, either like a podcast or if you're going to do competition barbecue or anything like that, and you want to make a logo. Don't just go into Paint or any type of program that you're using and just set yourself into it. If you hear that walking, that is my bulldog once again. He is interjecting himself into the podcast whether we like it or not. We don't have a fancy studio. We just kind of record this and do what we do. So hopefully if you're listening and you're having fun, that's great. So Zach, let's talk about the Man Meat Barbecue logo. What I know I gave you a lot of freedom in it. I told you I wanted to represent the Chicago flag. I wanted it to not look like any other damn barbecue logo with just a pig or a cow on it, and I wanted it to look different. So what was the process that you kind of went through?
First thing, I definitely went and researched a lot of the barbecue logos that are already there today, and I saw all the usual things like you were saying, a pig, grill utensils, a grill, smoke, stuff like that. So I wanted to stay away from that, but still somehow give you a barbecue feel. So I really just kind of went through my inspiration websites and checked some of those things out, see what people are doing today, and then wanted to tie it back into my design aesthetic, which is very simple and clean looking. So I didn't really go through and draw a bunch of different things. I woke up one morning and put the pen to paper finally, and came up with this sort of hamburger-esque idea, and ran with it, and sent you some files and tweaked a few things here and there, and then essentially came to the final logo pretty easily, and I think it works pretty well.
Now, our logo is pretty much a maroonish red. Mm-hmm. What made that was kind of the first file he showed me too. It was already a maroon red. It wasn't like we went through a bunch of colors and a bunch of color schemes. We just we settled on that color right away. But what drew you to that color?
Definitely, that was the one part of kind of all the other barbecue logos. They're all using that kind of smoky palette and warmer colors. And I think the maroon color really ties into that barbecue feel very well. And that's why I want to keep it pretty simple with the colors. Just one color and then cut out, so whatever you put it on, it kind of seeps through and adds to that experience.
Which, it flows perfectly everywhere we place it, so it works really, really well. So if you guys obviously haven't seen our logo, I don't know how you're listening to this podcast because it's definitely on the damn podcast. But if you're looking for a logo or you're trying to start a barbecue team or it's just something that you want to do, make sure your logo will flow on numerous things. It'll look good on a t-shirt. It'll look good on a koozie. It'll look good pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, you got to have some sort of versatility so you can, get your name out there and show it and have it look good too. I mean, you don't want just the 3 letters and whatever on a piece of paper that never,
that never goes anywhere. Nobody remembers it. I make fun of some of the barbecue logos just because I think they're funny, but they stand out. They stand out to some people, a pig half burnt running or something like that. That stands out to people. Having a cool, catchy name works too. That helps people remember you. and I think that's positive. It's an important thing. But if people want to get in contact with you, say they want you to make a logo for them or anything like that, design work wise, I know Zach will be having a new website coming up soon. Once we get that, we'll put it in the show notes and all that kind of fun stuff. But that's still all in the works, and putting a website together takes a lot of work. So for anyone that's like, oh, well, he should have one right away, it's like, no, sometimes it's better to wait a minute than to put out shitty product. Yeah. So or a website that like doesn't work right away. So if they need to get in contact with you, what's your email? How do they get in contact with you?
My email is Zach, ZACH .Shiffrin, SHIFFRIN @gmail.com. Any questions or whatever you wanna put in, make some work, shoot me an email. Just tell me your name, tell me what you're looking for, and I should get back to you within the day.
We all have smartphones. People get back to each other really quickly. So yeah, if you're looking for some design work, we recommend him. We use him for all of ours. It works really, really well. Now you do a little bit of photography, right?
I do.
I know I'm throwing this out of left field. Any tips for food photography?
I've only dabbled into that a little bit, and everyone is a photographer with their iPhones and Instagrams.
Of course they are.
But it's all about lighting and making the product look good. If you can do that, even if you're in your kitchen and you have a desk light, you can kind of make a shadow of some sort. I would say do that. Put it on a white background, or some kind of contrasting background. Nothing crazy, but something that just like makes it look clean.
It makes it look nice and clean. And that's I see a lot of people's photos. Obviously, we're on Instagram. Everyone's on Instagram. If you're not, you're not part of this world almost. But it's people post a lot of pictures of their food, and I think that's important. I think you can learn from each other. You see what somebody's doing, how it's working, and it's the same thing with I would say design work. Yeah. You see a lot of design work, you see a lot of sticker work, and you see all that kind of fun stuff, and I think it's important. So if you are interested in doing anything like what we're doing here, for sure check out a designer, talk to somebody, whether it's Zach or somebody in your area. Maybe you're in California or somewhere else and you feel like talking over the internet or talking over the phone would be too difficult to transcribe your ideas, which I know that sometimes talking in person makes life a little bit easier, but just get a good designer.
Yeah, nowadays it's not hard to do either. Like, most designers are willing to talk to people. I mean, I've talked to people that are higher up that I have no business talking to, and they're awesome. And they'll take if they have the time, they'll take it and they'll talk to you and give you any advice and give you feedback on your work, and it's pretty cool. And at the end of the day, like, this is all fun. Same with barbecue, same with design. It's all fun, and that's what it should be.
Which is, yeah. I mean, if you're doing what you love, it's gonna shine through. And it's going to make your life a lot easier.
Exactly.
So let's rattle off some quick questions.
All right.
At home, gas grill or charcoal?
I've dabbled with both, but both my residents have gas grills.
Okay. And, favorite barbecue restaurant? Doesn't have to be in Chicago, just in general.
Say as of right now, I'm going to stay with Chicago. I'm going to do Smoke Daddy's over on Division and Wood. If you haven't been there, it's pretty damn good. Check it out.
Favorite barbecue food?
I'd say either ribs or a nice big steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
New York strip.
New York strip, awesome. New York strips are delicious. How do you get yours cooked? Are you a medium or medium?
Medium rare.
Medium rare. Okay.
Medium rare on the redder side.
On the redder side. See like a nice warm pink center.
Yes. Usually.
For some of you listeners, you guys know that I like to get fun and dirty. It's just the way I do things. So yeah, barbecue hits everyone. So like I said, I wanted this podcast to be different than all the other podcasts and not just talk to barbecue pit masters and all that kind of shit. I wanted to talk to people that actually enjoy barbecue. And designers and all that kind of shit. From a design aspect, do you find it more difficult to design for a genre when somebody like tells you like, okay, we're a barbecue team, you got to stay only in that thing? Do you feel like you need a pull from other places?
Yeah, I think for me, like, I feel like I may have a much different approach to design than a lot of people do, which could be good, could be bad, you know? But I like to have my little bit of 2 cents for myself on top of that. So I do pull from other places, but still try to tie it into that one genre.
So yeah, pull their genre in nicely, but then at the same time
have my spin on it.
Have your little spin and your side to it, which is great. I feel if your designer is just too much like just doing whatever you tell them to do, sometimes that's not always the best thing.
Right. It's always nice to have a little creative freedom because then I feel like I want to, put forth all my effort to this project rather than, just do this, this, and this. Like, I can do that, And
you also know what flows better on paper in general than what most... I mean, you can see something in your head and you're like, I want the logo to look this way. Kind of listen to the designer. They know what works better. It's like if somebody came up to you and they were like, hey, go cook your ribs this way. And you're like, well, I don't think so. Like, if my ribs work better this way. Not saying that you shouldn't give their method a try, but sometimes the designer knows how a layout will look better.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I mean, there's always time to fight your designer or your client. You're going to have there's going to be some tension and friction between the two designers or whatever. But as long as you talk through it and like just make sure that they know what you're doing and why you're doing it, that definitely helps. Just communication is huge.
Yeah, that's totally true. I feel like the logo that we did for MMB Barbecue is pretty simple. Mm-hmm. We didn't have any tension, I don't think.
No, it worked out pretty well. We just kind of he gave me his, general ideas and I kind of focused them and made it whole, and we, I think updated maybe once or twice. And
I think the only thing we did was I don't know what we did.
Change the colors a little bit, maybe.
I think we maybe changed the colors a little bit or made the font a little bit bigger, and I think that was it.
Yeah.
And then added the website on the side of it once we wanted to make some stickers and do stuff like that, just so it'd be a little bit more branding. But otherwise than that, I think we pretty much kept everything the exact same.
Yeah, it's definitely nice when that happens, when you just kind of figure the thing out and boom, run with it. I like that personally because that means, as a designer, I was doing something right, especially
you did something right
for the client. And yeah, it was a fun one to work on. People definitely get a kick out of hearing it. They're like, wait, what? What is it?
Yeah, there's that little pun. It works pretty well. So, if you guys are looking, obviously, if you're looking for a good designer, Zach's email was in the podcast earlier. We'll put it in the blog so that you don't have to try to catch it. I know some of you guys are listening to this in the car. Some of you guys are listening to this, I don't know, on a plane somewhere. I don't know. Wherever you are, you're listening to it. So it's great. But we'll make this podcast kind of short and sweet. Nothing too crazy. You are from Chicago, which is not a city that is known for its barbecue. You did mention you said you went to Memphis.
I have. I've been to Memphis. This is probably 8 years ago now, and it was pretty awesome.
Was it some of the best barbecue?
Yes. We went. I can't remember what the place was called, but I was with my soccer team actually at the time. We went as a huge group, and the portions were unreal. The food was awesome. There was live music in the background. I mean,
if you're not from Memphis or you've never been to Memphis, go check out Memphis. If you really want to go and just put yourself into barbecue, Memphis in May obviously is in May. That's a huge competition, so go out there. So some of the people that do want to do competition barbecue, that's a cool competition to check out. I mean, it's one of the biggest, so go check it out and see if it's something you really want to do, and then start finding competitions near home and getting into them and find a good design. Some cool logos, some t-shirts. I think that when you look like a team, you feel better.
Definitely. And good design is, universal. Like if you're looking at two different brands and you don't know either of them, and one of them is better design and packaging and branding than the other one, 9 times out of 10 you go with the one that has the better design.
Go with the better design.
Yeah.
Now, we will be obviously talking, I'm going to be doing a rub, and I don't know if I want to redesign the packaging that I'm going to do. I think I'm going to keep the same logo and going all that. If somebody is packaging Say they're looking to do their own rubs. They're looking to do their own sauces, and they want to sell them. Mm-hmm. What's some input you can give for that? What would you recommend? What would be your steps to start packaging, to start thinking?
Okay. What I've done is I make like a mood board kind of thing where you kind of pull from different sites and stuff like colors and imagery and any type examples that you want to kind of use, and have that up on a separate board so you can look at that for inspiration, and then move on to if you have your logo already, perfect. If not, then you might have to make one up. And looking at having that and having the container you're going to put it in and what the length and size of everything's going to be, and make sure you don't, over cluster it so people are looking at something that's pretty and it also tells you what you need to know,
Are you a fan of bright colors, or are you pretty simple?
It depends, honestly. I like to kind of use the color schemes with what the actual product is. Okay. So it varies. I do like things that stick out, but I also like a nice muted color palette.
Are you a cartoony person? In the design?
It depends. I'm like a...
In your personal, not... Say the client has no...
Okay, and just me?
Just you personal.
Less, probably. Like, a few icons are fun, but I like very simple and, like, cool, like, hand lettering type and stuff like that. Just to kind of give it, like, a really... Either, if you're making it yourself, then you definitely give it, like, you made it yourself feel,
Like a little bit more homemade.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, if you're standing in the aisle at a grocery store, do you try, like, say you see 4 different barbecue sauces. Mm-hmm. Do you try the one that looks coolest?
Ooh, I honestly have gotten the same barbecue sauce for probably 10, 15 years, so no. But if they don't have it, then I start looking towards, like, packaging and stuff. Okay. But I get nervous because, I got to go with the Sweet Baby Ray's.
He goes with the Sweet Baby Ray's. Simple packaging. I believe their packaging is, white and red? Yeah. And it just says Sweet Baby Ray's on it. So,
Sweet Baby Ray's.
You don't have to freak out about it. It's nothing too extravagant. I know there are some rubs and some sauces out there that have some extravagant logos and crazy designs. I know that beer tends to do that. I am a big fan of trying beer on the packaging. Yeah. If I'm in the mood for a new IPA or something different, I'll look at the packaging and I'll go, okay, you know what? I'm going to give this a try just because
it's cool looking, yeah.
It looks cool.
I hear you. I've done that too. I mean, I work at a bar also that has millions of beers, it feels like, and there's some crazy packaging out there, and it's fun.
Now, coming from a design standpoint and you start looking at all that stuff, what's your input on that? Like, do you feel that sometimes the packaging will let the product down?
Sure. I definitely think that can happen sometimes.
Like if you think it's that looks super cool,
oh man,
you kind of like envision in your head what it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's happened to me. I can't remember which beer it was, but I don't think I drank it again. And I was just like, man, like that bottle was awesome looking,
but then the
beer was just. To say the least.
So hopefully, if you're doing rubs or if you're doing something like that, maybe you're brewing your own beer. Don't overstimulate your customer.
Or do, because then they'll at least try it, right?
I guess, yeah. But if you let them down, and I kind of feel the same way with the blog and with all this. I wanted the label to be pretty simple, and I didn't want to overstimulate it and then have people be like, oh shit, this isn't that cool. Mm. Like it looked super cool. I know it's not cool at all.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not sure, I mean, clean and simple is always good.
It's always the safe. It's always the safe bet, guys.
It's timeless if it's done right. So
I agree with that. That's kind of like how I agree with not all barbecue needs sauce. I'm sorry for everyone that hates me for just saying that. If it's good enough barbecue, it don't need sauce. So yeah, we'll wrap it up with that. I think hopefully you guys got something. I know we kind of bounced around. Both of us are creative people, and I think when you're creative, you bounce around a little bit. I don't think we forgot anything that I wrote down, which was not the best show notes this time. But that's okay. Like I said, this blog will take on its own life, or this podcast will take on its own life, and if you have any input for us, please feel free to email us at manmeatsbarbecue@gmail.com. You can find that email on our website, which is manmeatbarbecue.com, our Instagram, manmeatbarbecue.com. Don't forget to use the hashtag manmeatbarbecue on all your barbecue posts. We do a shout-out every Friday over Instagram. They've been working out really, really nicely. So if you want a shout-out from us, use our hashtag. It's our way of actually seeing what you're cooking. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for coming on the show, Zach.
Thanks for having me.
Check out once he does get a website, I will give that shout out so you can check out more of his work. He does some great design. He's obviously going to be doing more design work for us. So we'll just we'll keep you guys posted and all that fun stuff. So thank you very much, guys. Remember to go check us out on iTunes, and if you could rate us and give us a thumbs up, that would be awesome. And tell us a blurb about how you like the show. So have a good one, guys. Remember, keep cooking.